Question. If Americans want to shift toward European-style programs like single-payer health care, they should be ready to pay taxes like Europeans. Well, that's according to a new report by the Heritage Foundation. Let's take a look at that report. It compared the take-home pay of workers making $40,000 in Europe with the same income right here in the U.S., and it shows the Europeans taking home, look at this, nearly $6,000 less.
I think that that yesterday's hearing isn't going to change anybody's mind. If you believe that the president was using irregular channels in order to dig up dirt on a political rival for personal gain, that's what you believe. If you believe that the president was hearing skeptical things about the Ukrainians' commitment to looking into corruption, and that he's entitled to set foreign policy, and he's entitled to send whatever advisors he wants to over to implement that policy, and that there's nothing wrong with that, then that's what you believe. And I don't think that anybody's minds was changed by what happened yesterday, and I doubt anybody's mind will be changed at the end of next week's hearings.
All of that evidence shows there was no quid pro quo, and that is what will make the public realize that this really is an investigation intended to come out with the truth. And look, Adam Schiff is actually helping the Republicans. Why? His refusal to allow them to call key witnesses, such as the so-called whistleblower, who started all of this out, makes it look like he's trying to run a show trial, a one-sided partisan investigation, and like I said, instead of trying to get at the truth.
What I can tell you is amnesty for DACA recipients is terrible policy. At the Heritage Foundation, we believe that amnesty only begets more amnesty. And when you put up a green light that says, hey, we're willing to give away amnesty for DACA, what you see is a surge. You can expect to see more young folks crossing the border, just like 2014 when Obama rolled out DACA. It just led to the surge of gang and crime, activity.
So if we look back to previous administrations, unfortunately, conscience rights have not been treated with, frankly, the respect that they deserve over the years. The Obama administration in particular was notorious for moving quickly, if at all, on complaints that came in through their Office of Civil Rights. And frankly, that's unacceptable. We're talking about fundamental civil rights for people to be able to live and work in accordance with their conscience in the public square. Again, this is a fundamental right, and it needs to be treated as such.
Well, Jared is arguing we should be having a discussion about the right way to go after this wealth. I would say that we should be discussing whether or not we should be going after this wealth at all, because what we know is that this capital that investors have been able to accumulate, it's not as if they're holding this in bank vaults under their mattresses. This is the capital that's being invested in research, being invested in development, it's being invested in new and existing business opportunities. If we begin taking that wealth, and the economic studies show that over a longer period of time, this would wipe out in excess of 70% of the wealth of some of these investors. This means negative economic results for all of us, not just on the wealthy.
This goes back to the fundamental problem with the Iran deal. If you look at the preamble of the deal, Iran basically says there, look, we were never interested in getting a nuclear weapon. We deny that we were ever interested in getting a nuclear weapon. And we have demonstrable evidence that that was a lie. So they lied before they entered the deal. There's been mounting evidence that they've cheated during the deal. So I don't know why anybody's surprised that they have not been honoring the deal since day one.
I think there's some concern about Senator Warren being rather radical and wanting to adopt a very substantial industrial new policy for the United States, where the government controls vastly more aspects of our economy and regulating the financial markets and other areas of our economy in a way that would reduce growth and would leave Americans worse off.
Our country's current state of the economy is the best it's ever been. It's the best of the developed world. We've seen just over the last few years in the extension into this 10 years of growth, we have record household income. We've got almost 97% of the population that wants a job. We have them employed. This is all good news, and it's just sad that so many are denigrating those who are most successful. And unfortunately, if they succeed in those attacks, that's going to have a real lasting impact on all of us.